Good morning and a Merry Christmas Eve, everyone. I'm Stormwatch 12 meteorologist Josh Colbert here in the Weather Center, and we are tracking some pretty active weather to start off your Christmas Eve morning, but things have quickly ramped up across the region as we're tracking multiple areas of not only rain but snow up in the higher terrain. Snow can occur when the temperature is above 32 degrees. If the melting layer is shallow enough, snow can actually make it to the ground. So it'll be really interesting to see over the next, I'd say, 15 to 20 minutes, some wintry precip mixing in. And that's where you, the viewer.
So usually we go down to April's mom's and her husband Greg's house for Thanksgiving every year. But this year we decided, since we hadn't been down there for Christmas in a while, that we were going to go down there for Christmas. Unfortunately, as the time came to head down there, the weather started turning bad. Our plan was to leave on Christmas afternoon, right after visiting with my family. And as we were getting up to Christmas week and Christmas Day, the weather was really not looking good. We had 3 different routes we could go. We could head down I-5 south into California and then across to Arizona to where we were headed. But that involved the Siskiyou Pass, which oftentimes is bad when the weather's bad. We could also head down Highway 97 through eastern Oregon and down through Nevada before going to Arizona. But this had a lot of rural areas, and sometimes the roads aren't well cleared there. Our final path was to head I-84 east into Idaho, and then down through Nevada, and finally to our destination in Arizona. As it came to Christmas Day, the weather was showing us that the I-5 pass was almost impassable, 95 was completely impassable, and 84 had storms on the horizon, but it was passable at the time that we decided to leave. So as we got to time to depart, we decided that 84 was the way we were going to go.
As we got closer to the Idaho border, the weather was still pretty good, but there was now snow on the ground. The weather reports were telling us that the storm was catching up with us, and we were trying our hardest to get over the passes before the storms hit us. Unfortunately, we didn't quite make it. The storm started coming down around us, and the weather started getting rough, and it got a little bit worse as we were going. Finally, after about 15 hours of driving, we got out from underneath the snowstorm and the snow stopped coming down. We made it to our final resting spot for the evening of Wells, Nevada, where we would spend the night before we headed out to continue our trek down to Arizona. When we woke up the next morning, we discovered that we had not, in fact, beat the storm by quite as much as we thought we had. It had dumped a lot of snow on the ground as we slept, and it was going to be a little bit of a treacherous day. It didn't look like it was actively snowing anymore, but we would find out that that didn't mean that we weren't in for a lot of snow coming up. the storm threw its worst at us. We ended up being hit again and again and again with complete and total whiteouts. At one point, we were at a spot where it was nice and sunny and I was doing 55 miles an hour when all of a sudden I could not even see the windshield wipers on my own windshield. It was stressful because there was a car in front of me and a car behind me, so I knew I couldn't slow down or speed up. I just had to trust that I could find the road. Eventually, we made it past, though, without any sort of incident. But the stress of the storm doesn't compare at all to the fact that Gavin is 15 now and has a driver's permit, so he wanted to drive for part of the trip. When we got out of the storm and out into the straight Nevada desert, we decided it was time to let him have a little bit of a chance at the wheel and get some experience at speed on the highways. After making it to Arizona and a few days of hanging out with family, we decided to explore the Wickenburg area a little bit and discover that there was a ghost town nearby called Vulture City that had been a mine up until the early 40s and it had been abandoned after that. So we decided we were going to